It's Wednesday, January 25th. I'm GHK Lall on Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Welcome to the National Outlook. The EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, the head, Mr. Kemraj Parsharam, was in the papers last Saturday, Kaieteur, saying the screening process for the environmental authorization strengthened. I'm glad to hear that, Mr. Parsharam. And as much as I know that you're under the microscope and that you are being flayed, attacked, including by me, and I think justifiably, I feel for you. I wouldn't want that job under the circumstances that you have, where I think you're a decent man and you are an honest man, but you find yourself in this situation where you can't really function. That's my assessment. That's my honest opinion and my thought that I put, that you really can't function because your hands are tied, or one hand is tied behind your back. And that's not a good way for any senior executive to operate or to be put in that position by political masters. So I feel for you. So when I hear you say that the environmental authorization screening process has been strengthened, I say, well, why not? And that is a good thing. But how much has it been strengthened by? And what is the meaning of those strengthening provisions process in the entirety of the issuing of permits for this project and that project, upstream, offshore, downstream, on land? That's what I'm concerned about. Because here's this, and I'm talking to the executive director of the EPA himself as much as I'm talking to you, whoever is listening to these programs. I am saying that we are good. We have a wonderful history of compiling laws, rules, regulations, policies, and procedures. We have them in writing, and we have them in stacks that can fill many libraries. But there's a little hang-up here, a big hiccup, in that they are never taken out of the pages what is embedded in those pages, this rule and this policy, and put into practice in the way that they should be, or to say it differently, in the fullness of the scope in terms of where and how they should apply. So, yes, we have them, a good thing. Yes, we hear about enhancements and strengthening of the screening process for environmental permits. But is this process, this strengthened process, really going to make a difference? Are we going to have projects being approved by the politicians which are handed to the EPA and say, go out and announce that, when there is the sense, there is the considerable understanding within the EPA that really this should not be? But nobody's saying anything for fear of being pushed out or kicked out. Yes, are we going to hear about more slumber jays like happened in Houston, East Bank, Demerara, not Houston, Texas, or as they would say there, Houston, Texas. Houston, East Bank, Demerara, where the Radzik sisters and Mr. Raphael Singh had to go to court because of the fears and the reality of hazardous materials, and which Schlumberger just recently went to court to get a stay that was denied again. I mean, the EPA should have been in front of this. So I'm hoping, I am putting on the table, that this strengthened screening process really has teeth on paper and in practice. If it's on paper alone, it's useless to us. It's, well done, but you haven't done enough. When it's implemented and enforced and given life, then we can say, hey, we are getting somewhere. We are doing the right thing to safeguard Guyanese and to benefit from this oil wealth to the best that we can. I'm GHK Lall on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Thank you for listening to the National Outlook.